in the works right now at the shop, and there's got to be another 4 or 5 motorcycles in the works right now at the shop. So everybody's really busy. Everybody's going around the clock. And of course, when you're in production, the deadlines are amazing. So it's funny, when you're building a project for someone, there's really not any real time constraints. I mean, yes, a customer wants something within a reasonable amount of time, and that makes sense. But when you're making something that's a one-of-a-kind or special artwork or whatever like that, 9 times out of 10, there's no real deadlines. It's just make sure that it's proper. But it's interesting when you're doing a television show, because the networks and the production companies have costs and crews and things like that, and so therefore they're like go 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 go, which then forces us to be go 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 go. So the guys right now, we're around the clock, and again, I cannot say enough nice things about my boys. They're absolutely the best. So yeah, man, they are.
Yeah, and trust me, he doesn't cut any corners. I'm the corner cutter. I gotta save money. He spends it, and he makes sure it's perfect. So even though we're going faster, it's still gotta be quality.
I'm definitely my own worst enemy when it comes to the business. I truly love cars. I truly love motorcycles. I am an honest to goodness addict with them. And when it comes to building something, man, I don't like to cut corners. And so, I'm probably not the best for the business, but the projects are the best. The cars are the best, the bikes are the best, the trucks are the best. But sometimes the bottom line, my own guys look at me and they're like, dude, why are you doing this to us, man? We've taken this thing apart and put it back together 14 times now. Is it good enough? So I'm pretty harsh about that. But I look at it this way, man. Years and years and years from now, when there's no more counting cars, or there's no more me, or whatever that may be, those vehicles will still be out there. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to friends of mine in the industry. I don't pick on people. I'm not the guy I don't talk smack on anybody. But I've seen it happen to other folks in the industry that fall into that trap of, I've got to really hurry, so therefore we're going to cut corners. And then years later, that car is sitting right there, and they don't think about the time and the deadlines and stuff that it took to get it done. You're just looking at that car and you think, wow, there's so much better than that. And you forget, about why it got rushed, But so like Kevin was saying, for me, the rush may be one thing, but we don't compromise. I hate compromise. I really hate compromise. I'm kind of a brat. I want things my way, and that's just how it goes. So, Counts Kustoms is rocking and rolling strong as can be. The new show's coming out here in a couple of months. I don't know, whenever they tell me. and YouTube and FYI, check out all that as well as to what we got going on. Count 77, my band is working on our 3rd record right now. For those of you that know anything about that, it's a whole different thing. It's a part of my life that's very, very important to me. Seeing as my father was a musician, I grew up in music, and I'm getting to do that again now. So the band is actually 10 years old now, and we're working on our 3rd record. So that's coming out here sometime in the near future as well. If you've never heard of this band, it's called Counts 77. It's a 70s based hard rock band, and it's an absolute blast. So I encourage you to check that out when you get a chance to. Keeping it real. We're keeping it real. That's one thing I got to do, is I got to keep it real, man. I just got to keep it real. If you keep it real, you don't have to look over your shoulder as to who's tracking you. You can sleep better at night, and you just do your best to treat everybody the best that you can, man. And it comes back around. And say your prayers at night. Trust me, that works as well. Oh my Lord, that works as well. And before we get into a question and answer session, I want to say a huge thank you, because I look around the room and I see it. I want to say a huge thank you to all of our military, 1,000%, man. Our veterans always support, past, present, future. God bless our military. God bless our military. If you're not, bro, it's you sure should be.
And then I look at that building right there, and I hope everybody takes care of Wounded Warriors.
Yeah.
And we do our best, and we've done a lot of projects for them. They've been wonderful. So keep supporting Wounded Warriors.
Yeah, they really are.
Absolutely.
That's a really good group. Really good group. Always 100% support our first responders as well, man. All of them, our police, our ambulance folks, our firefighters, everybody like that. First responders. Good Lord, if it wasn't for these kind of people, what kind of trouble we'd be in a mess. So always show your support. I do. I don't want to tell you what to do, but I just want you to know that that's how I feel about things. So, anyways, I think I've rambled. I can ramble for days if you guys want me to. I know some really good stories.
Danny, I think we feel up to date. I think it's good.
Are we all caught up? We're all pretty much caught up.
But
all right, how's the show, by the way, everybody? Fantastic. Typical Autorama. Always the best. We're gonna open up the floor. We're gonna open up the floor to some Q&As.
Alrighty. The first question's gonna come here from my buddy John.
What's up, John?
Hey, Mike. What's the most expensive, craziest ride that you guys have built?
I have to think about it too.
Yeah. We've man.
Expensive for us or for the customer? Let's clarify that, because
Counts Customs have been, just that you know, we've been in the business now. Counts Customs have been around over 20 years now. It's not something that happened because of a television show. The shop is 21 plus years old now at this point, so that covers a lot of ground. But I'm trying to think, man, off the top of my head. I got a boatload wrapped up. My favorite, man. See, that's another hard one too.
It's Pittsburgh, brother. You're gonna get some tough questions.
What your favorite band?
Thanks, Doc. I appreciate it. My favorite one. My favorite car.
Your favorite. I thought he said your favorite band. That's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that guy that loves them. I love them all. I really do. And I know that sounds like a cop out of an answer. But it's true. When you talk about cars in general, I know there's Ford people and Chevy people and Mopar people and this and that. I'm that guy that appreciates stuff from all of the manufacturers, and I really love them. I can't pinpoint one particular car. I will say I am a Cadillac weirdo. I absolutely love Cadillacs. I love my old Cadillacs. I love my big, giant, pimpy boat Cadillacs. I can't help it. It's the Detroit in me. I just absolutely love them. I've got a 71 Eldorado convertible, original Dunham Coach Superfly Cadillac, for real, from Dunham Coach, with the giant grille and the giant headlights and the giant hood ornament and more chrome and flake on it than you can shake a stick at. The whole interior is fur. It's so pimpy, it's disgusting, and I love that car. I've got a huge affirmations. Then let's go flip coin and go the whole opposite direction. I got a big thing for 427 Cobras. I can't help it. I know that even might sound cliche because everybody knows the 427 Cobras and this and that. But if you really look at that car for a minute, it's one of the most amazing cars that's ever been built. So I have a huge love for that as well. Man, I'm a Corvette guy. I love Corvettes. I like C3s, even though that wasn't one of the best cars they ever built. I happen to like that body style, and you can make them fantastic. So I'm huge on that as well. And as far as expensive is concerned, you're going to see a car that I've got a boatload wrapped up into right now. It is a 1962 Kellison J6 Panther, and it's a really oddball car. And when I found it, Matter of fact, I think I found it in Pennsylvania. I think it was years ago.
When he says boatload, you know what boat stands for, right? Break out another 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought this car. It's a really unusual car. I bought this car years ago and just put it on a shelf in the shop, thinking someday I was going to build it for myself because I'm a weirdo like that and I like to keep things, and which is another challenge with me. Anyways, but Borla exhaust and they do magnificent induction systems as well. They do these gorgeous old school looking injection systems that are fantastic with all modern electronics and everything. They're great. So Borla contacted me and said, hey man, for SEMA, we want you to build something cool to put in our booth at SEMA and use some of our Borla products on it. So that's what happened. I started looking around the shop, and the 62 Kellison that I bought years ago was sitting up on a shelf, and I'm like, you know what, man? Let's do that. And as Kevin will tell you, the intentions for that vehicle was I was building it for myself. I've had several really good offers on it since it's been done, but I'm not selling it. I really love this car, and I put way too much in it, and I don't know what I have in it, but it's beautiful.
I do.
It's beautiful. You'll see it on I think the premiere episode of Counting Cars that comes out, because that episode we're at SEMA and the car was there. But on YouTube, as soon as that episode airs, which is part of my obligations to the network, is don't show things that's getting ready to go on TV because it ruins it. Ruins the factor. So as soon as that episode airs, I'm going to do a thing on YouTube with that car and give everybody a complete bumper to bumper on it, even though it has no bumpers. It's a really neat ride. So I'm going to say that Kellison has got a lot of money wrapped up in it, and I really love almost every car ever built. I just do. I can find a reason to appreciate almost every car ever built. I really do. My heart, I have a huge affirmation for Ford Motor Company, because my family in Detroit, my grandparents came over on the boat from Yugoslavia, and they immediately settled in Detroit and got jobs at Ford Motor Company. And Ford Motor Company has taken care of my family for so many years. So while I can't say I'm a Ford guy or I'm a Mopar guy or I'm a Chevy guy or whatever like that, I will say that as far as a real love for a company, I got a real affirmation for the Ford Motor Company, just because of the way they treated my family and took care of my family for years. Absolutely. Good group of people there. Good group of people there.
Hey, we got Bob right here.
Answered something. Doc, what you got?
We got Bob right here. Go ahead.
What's going on, Bob?
I have a comment and a question.
Okay.
A comment, I've been to your shop and I've seen your showroom. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Anybody in here, this would be a thing to do. Trust
Thank
me.
you. Man, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
The question I have is for both of you.
Okay.
I've seen probably every episode since you started. Tell me what your favorite episode was, both of you. I'd like to know.
First, I gotta think.
Mine's easy. It's when we did that beautiful '69 Cadillac sedan, blue and white. I'm just saying, that was my favorite episode.
Okay. All right.
Ribby,
Say what?
a motel.
Oh, dude. Oh my gosh. Break my heart. That car now lives in Massachusetts.
No, Maryland.
Yeah, someplace with an M.
Same
I
thing.
don't know.
Same thing. I keep track because, you never know. We always ask for first right of refusal.
Yeah, I did
So-
not. Yeah, that one was not for sale. But a guy came in and wandered around, and he wanted it worse than me. And so it's in apparently Maryland. What a great car. As far as the episodes, Bob, right? As far as the episodes, I'm gonna reach way back into, I think it was season 1 when we got to restore Barry White's Stutz forecourt for his beautiful wife Glodine. I really think that meant a lot to me. The car itself, highly unusual car. To be able to find parts to restore a car like that was next to impossible. We ended up making many of the pieces and parts that were just missing and or bad and or gone for that car. Being a person that loves music, it was important to me that that was Barry White's daily driver. And to be able to do something for family, for people. I'm a firm believer in taking care of family. So the fact that, and the way that came about was just crazy, you know, because I've known Glodine for years. She rides. That woman rides Harleys. She's crazy. She's a good rider too. Anyways, we got to talking one night, and I asked her whatever happened to Barry's studs. And she told me that when Barry passed, he had willed the car to a gentleman of his that was kind of his go-to guy, is a guy that took care of everything for him. And then she lost track of that gentleman because he kind of sort of stepped off the curb somewhere, and he kind of disappeared. And rumor had it that he had sold the car to somebody, someplace, sometime, or whatever. The White family had a home in Las Vegas for years, and that car had lived in Las Vegas for years, and that's how come I knew so well. And she told me, she's like, I would do anything to get that car back. She completely lost track of it, and it was an honest, I swear, as the Lord is my witness, and He will not, He won't let me lie about this. It's the truth. We were driving around a neighborhood and found that car in a driveway, and it was spiderwebbed to the ground. I mean, you know, 4 flat tires, spiderwebbed to the ground, had not moved in God knows how long. Went and knocked on the door. There was nobody home but a cat, and he couldn't tell me anything. And I left a note. Thought I would never hear from anybody. Not exactly the grandest of neighborhoods, and I'll be darned if I didn't get a phone call from a really wonderful lady, and her and her daughter lived there alone at that home, and her husband had purchased the car from the guy. Her husband tragically had passed away, and that car had just been laying there, and they knew nothing about it. They had no story on it. They had no history on it. They didn't know anything about it. They were thrilled that someone wanted to buy it and get it out of the driveway. And again, not being the greatest businessman in the world, but I'm gonna be honest about it. And you know what? I take that back because playing things really honest and straightforward. It might be a longer road and it might be a harder road, but it pays off better in the long run. So maybe I am good at business. I don't know. But I sat down with these 2 gals and I told them the truth about the car before we talked about price. I wasn't going to go in there and say, I'm going to give you $1,000 to get this thing out of your driveway. I wanted them to know. And I wanted them to know what they had and what they were selling. Because I got the VIN number off the car. I called Glodine. She goes, my Lord, that is the VIN number. So I'm like, okay. And told them, you know, whose car it was and the history on it, this and that, and it was actually a valuable car, and I was going to take it back to the family. And then we negotiated a fair price on it. But that build meant a ton to me. And to this day, Glodine and I, you know, we stay in touch. And you know, her daughter got married, and they used that car for the wedding. And the family loves that car because that's Dad. And so that one, I think that one means a lot to me. Good question.
We've got
really long answer.
How about one from the ladies?
Absolutely.
All right, Kim.
Absolutely. What's your name?
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim. What's happening?
A couple comments. I totally adore you.
All right, are you talking to Kevin?
No, we're talking to Danny. Kevin, you're all right, though.
You are too sweet. You are too sweet, Kim. Thank you.
Thank you
You're
for
very-
coming to Pittsburgh. We love you.
Thank you for having me.
My question is about charitable organizations. You mentioned Wounded Warrior. Are you involved with any other organizations?
Yeah, I stay up with St. Jude's. I do stuff with St. Jude's as much as I possibly can. I'm very much a big supporter of the Shriners as well. My father was a Shriner, Tadmore Temple in Ohio, as a matter of fact, was his membership, and I feel that those organizations are legit and are good. And so yes, we work with Wounded Warriors, we work with St. Jude's, we work with Shriners, and we work with our military all the time. Those are the we have to, you know. I say it all the time. I've been blessed. In the Bible, it says God watches over fools and children, and I'm no kid. So, you know, there's living proof right there. But you gotta give back. You got to give back, and that's just how I believe. That's how I was brought up, and I firmly believe that helps a ton. Thank you for asking. I thank you for asking. I appreciate that. And thanks for saying the sweet comment. That was very kind.
We got Brian over here with a question. Brian?
What's going on, Brian?
Hey, what's up?
You hippie?
No, I had a boss here in Pittsburgh. I worked for Carl Technology. He's doing the same thing you did, only Mobley.
I love it.
He thought
going.
I had a mullet, and I told him for years, you know, hey, this is all my length.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Keep it going, baby. Keep it going.
Oh, definitely.
We gotta stick together on this stuff.
I'm telling you, my wife won't let me get a cut either.
Hey, good girl. Like the Riv. I'm not gonna let that one go.
Hey, don't bring up the past.
But that it's a genuine motion Mako Corvette, and one of these days I will get around to it. You know, the customer always comes first, and so, you know, when I get a chance to build something for myself, it's a rarity. But that's on the list. And what's kind of funny is same thing with that Kellison I was talking about earlier. It was on the shelf, but I got an opportunity when Borla called. So hopefully Borla will call and say, hey man, what do you want to build next year? I know, how about a Mako? It's such a neat car. It's such a neat car. It really is. It really is. I look forward to building that car. It should be cool. But yeah, good eye. It's a Mako. Yeah.
Our next question comes from Scott.
Where are you at?
Right here.
What's happening?
May not be able to get up, but we're all right.
This is for Kevin. I just wonder how hard it is for you to get Danny to sell a car.
Yeah, he doesn't sell cars. I sell them. Yeah. So what happens is Danny's very, very, very tight with a guy named Jack. And so all I have to do is, and he really likes Gentleman Jack. So if I give him a couple drinks, and
Jack and I have been best friends for years.
And if I explain to him, hey, look, we need some cash, we need some operating capital, or we need to go buy some flips, or we've
run out of Jack,
or we've run out of whatever. So that's the only, you know, and then I'll feed him and these trips we take are perfect because I got him cornered on the plane. He can't go anywhere. So he's sitting right next to me, and then I'm like, you need another drink, don't you? Get him all lubed up, and then I say, listen, we really got to sell something. And so he agrees with me on the plane, and then a couple days later he goes, I never said that. I said, no, you did. In fact, I've already spent the money. And so that's the only way we get to sell cars. But honestly, they have to be, again, like he says, they have to want it more than him. Because I know all of you are car lovers. I already know that. You guys are here. You took the time to come here. There's something about cars or motorcycles that you love. Cars are a piece of the family. They're our family. And the way he treats cars is unbelievable. And when I say that is, I mean, his car, his daily driver gets wiped down daily. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it has nothing to do with showing off or anything like that. He doesn't like a speck of dust on his car. And trust me, I'm almost the same way. I can go 5 days.
Inside and out too.
No,
Inside's got to be
days.
perfect.
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is his love of the automobile and a part of the family, and so it's hard. And there are a few vehicles that I've talked him into selling, and he sold, and now I kind of regret it. And I see when I can tell.
I give him crap daily.
Well, and I can see it affects him. It does, because it's interesting. He'll come in, and to the shop, and he'll tell the general manager, he'll say, listen, I'm gonna drive this car today. You know, I had a dream about it, or it was just something that's been talking to me. And I believe him. I believe him, because you can't script that. You can't write that. It's just the way he feels about automobiles. And so, you know, it's great, and we always preach to teach kids about these cars. We have to keep it going, because you guys all know, you see what's coming. Every week there's something new, electronic, a new phone. You know, he doesn't even use these things, but I mean, everything's turning into a computer, you know, and these electric automobiles are, you know, it's just ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm just against them, because here's why I'm against them. I think, okay, are they well built, or they well maintained, or whatever, fine. But the problem is everybody says, let's go green. All right, now, I'm not smart, but I do know this. You're burning coal to run that car, are you not? Are you burning coal? What's the difference? Fuel or coal? All right? So it doesn't really matter. I'd rather, you know, if we're going to do that, let's do it right. And let's keep horsepower. Let's keep the big motors. Let's keep whatever you want to drive, whatever you think's cool. But we got to get these kids involved. Auto shop in school can never go away. It's got to stay. And we got to teach about, and I'll tell you, don't say that these old cars are going away and there isn't a lot of them left. Because we drive around, and we've driven between Nevada and New Mexico, and let me tell you, there's about 15 car graveyards that would serve the whole country. They're full of old cars. And so that's what, they're out there. We just need to save them, but we need to keep these kids involved and get them going in. And plus, like we always say, hey, somebody wants to own their own business or build their own business. The easiest way is learn mechanics, go open up a garage, doesn't cost much. You got instant money. Everybody on your street needs a battery or tires or brakes done. So we just got to keep it going.
Absolutely. You know, quick comment here, and I think many of you folks will agree. A lot of people have a passion for cars and auto, but I think you guys got the DNA. I think it's more than just a passion. I think it's inbred.
It's the truth. Here's my favorite thing to not like. Check this out. Where did that come from?
It did.
If you seen a commercial on TV, it's for this car that backs up, and this commercial of this kid with his headphones on, and he's just walking, and he walks through people, and they're all just, you know, having to avoid him, you know, all the time. I see that commercial, I'm like, run him over. I don't get that. I so respect that a smartphone actually has more technology than the lunar lander did in the 70s in your pocket. What an amazing tool. What an amazing tool to be able to have something like that you can put in your pocket and go anywhere and do anything. I love that. What I don't like is what it's done to people, and especially young people. So getting young people, I'd rather see them twisting a wrench than standing there doing that. So anyways, that was my rant.
There you go. Our next, it's a good rant. I think
We got a lot of rants.
Come over here, Matthew. Next up's for Matthew.
Hi.
Great
First
shirt.
of all, much love, mad respect for the both of you. I love your show because I think the way you treat people, your customers and everyone, you show them love and respect. My question is,
Absolutely. All righty. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. We're going to let them do that a little bit. Right over here. AMC, huh? American Motors. We're gonna let him sign and talk a little bit. And Kevin, I got a question for you.
Fire away.
You know, you kind of alluded to it, the fact that Las Vegas seems to be like the ultimate picking ground. I mean, the weather seems to be pretty good, and your show kind of conveys that you guys are out looking all the time. Are you really looking all that much for something, that next big bargain, that next big treasure, that next big project?
Well, here's the thing is, you got to remember Vegas is a dry climate, right? So people don't store stuff in their garages. They leave it out on their driveway because it's not going to rust. It's a dry climate, and so what? You got to replace the seats because the sun ate them up, or the rubbers around the windows, or the dashboard because it cracked. Who cares? That's easy, cheap stuff, right? That's inexpensive. So the dry climate is fantastic, and we've been driving around looking for cars all the time. Before we started the show, it's what we used to do. We used to pull people over. Danny would do it. I was with him one day. He goes to pull somebody over. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get us killed. But people in Vegas aren't uptight like that, so it's not as dangerous. Some cities are just not dangerous, and you know, you can do it. You go to LA and try and do that, you're getting shot first time. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's because of the dry climates. Arizona's the same way. You drive neighborhoods in the state of Arizona, in Phoenix area, you're going to find a gazillion cars sitting outside on people's in their lawn, or on their lawn or in their driveway, because they're using the garage for whatever, and you don't have to put it indoors. So, and you'll see on the next round of our shows, you'll notice that we're not pulling people over anymore, and here's why. Danny is adamant about keeping the show real. Fights with production all the time. We're not doing that. We're not doing this. We have a couple of people in the audience.
Yell and scream and throw chairs at people.
And we have a couple of folks in the audience that had us do a motorcycle that you'll see on this coming season. I just recognized them. And a beautiful motorcycle, and they'll tell you right now, is it real? Is it real? I mean, you got to put a mic on and film, but the stories are real, the builds are real, the people are real. And so we keep it real. And driving around Vegas anymore trying to pull people over isn't real, because everybody expects to be pulled over, or the price has gone way up, and it just doesn't make sense to fake it. So we're not going to fake it.
I can tell you one thing, that nearly 10 years in the TV business is pretty amazing, and you get that longevity because you keep it real. Got Drew and Holly over here.
And hey, Doc, too, is car people know. There's been shows out there that they don't watch, and the reason they don't watch them is because they know this is bullshit. Oh, sorry.
Yep, that's right.
Sorry, kids.
Family show. We're all right. We're good.
Sorry.
And we'll transition right into Drew.
What's your name, brother?
Drew.
Drew, nice to see you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we love the show, Holly and I.
Thank you.
Especially when you have some AMXs on there.
Yeah, dude. I'm shopping, by the way. Oh, well, Kevin, don't listen to
this.
Well,
there you go.
He's always shopping.
2 points. First of all, I want to find out if you ever restored one. But the second thing is, we have 3 of them, and we want to give you 2 of them.
I guess you guys can talk after the show, quite possibly.
Well, now, Drew, we need to chit-chat.
We
need to chit-chat.
Why do we have to go through this?
Yeah.
It's torture,
Yeah, no, we need to talk. It's funny because I have shopped for AMXs. I have never had the pleasure of restoring one. I almost bought one in Palm Springs. There was a white one in Palm Springs that really got my attention, and we just couldn't put the deal together. So I keep looking. I keep shopping. So we got to talk. We got to talk. Can I find you in here? We're talking. Oh, dude, we're talking. I love those cars.
This reminds me of. I think it was Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. Remember that?
Not really.
Okay, well, let me refresh your memory. We're there. Actually, Danny's band was there for a band play date for the casino there. We played the show, and then I think we did something like this. The next day, the band flew home. We went to go get something to eat. We were in a cab driving into town from the casino because, we wanted to try some real food. So we went into town, and there was a closed smoke shop, and in the front parking lot was a 1983, 87, 88, 89.
That's why he's the manager. That's why he crosses the T's and he dots the I's. We're good this way, man, because
What we're getting at,
what we're getting at is he has no idea what it is.
what we're getting at, it was a Corvette station wagon, Eckler's station wagon Corvette, sitting in a
He
parking
says
lot.
that's so flippant.
And
It's a real, genuine Eckler's, a real Eckler's wagon. It wasn't like a kit or anything. This is a true, genuine Eckler's built wagon.
And then the people had a big for sale sign, first problem, in the window. So he stops the cab. Now I'm hungry, you know, I gotta eat. And so we stop and goes around the car and he lifts up on the handle, and I guess in that town there's just like no crime. So of course it's unlocked.
So I stole it.
Well, anyway, we end up looking at it, and he calls the folks, and we make a deal. And I'll just say this. Before we got the car back to Vegas, I was already down $2,500 from transportation. So that's all I'm saying.
Wait till you see this car, though. It's a genuine, true Eckler's wagon. It's a 73, a tilt front end, big block car. And me being a C3 guy we were talking about earlier, it had to come home with me. And
it did.
It's partway through its build, by the way. We've gotten all the chassis done, all the suspension is done, and all of the body is done. But that's it. It's an empty roller, but it's gorgeous. Oh my Lord, it's so weird. It's gorgeous.
Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada will never be the same.
Apparently, it's 4 times